I realized that my tease wasn't full leading into this conversation with Dave Trabert. I said drag shows in Kansas, and then I thought to myself, well, who really cares about that? But when you've got the schools involved, that's when it matters. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, is here on KCMO. All right, Dave, you guys had it at the Sentinel. What is going on?
Well, good morning, Pete. It's good to be here. From what we have been told, the Lansing School District paid $400 to sponsor a table at this event. It was allegedly to raise scholarship money for kids, noble cause. But the Leavenworth School District is also listed as a sponsor. Now, their superintendent claims they didn't write a check, but somehow they're still listed as a sponsor on the banner. So they're involved too.
So it was a private or a drag show that is separate from the schools, but the schools were there actively trying to raise money? Well, I don't know what their motivation was. I can't speak to that, but they were sponsoring the events in some manner. Certainly in the case of Lansing, they wrote a $400 check. And it's not just the event. I don't think the whole event was a drag show. That was one of the acts, including at least one of the members on the video going out and giving lap dances. It sends a really bad message. I mean, imagine if it was, you have to think through, this is, whether you consider it cross-dressing, it's just the wrong image for a school district to be involved in. And then these are entities that are both claiming they're underfunded. They have their teachers paying for supplies out of pocket and imposing tax increases because they say they need more money, but they have money to do what they want. Well, it's about the important things, in life. It's not about the pens and pencils. It's about the drag shows. Come on now, Dave.
Yeah. Lansing's talking about a 24% property tax increase. 24%.
Right? Wow.
Leavenworth was only 5%, although we caught them trying to claim they weren't raising taxes. And that's another long story, but it's just, they go out of their, they have, the school districts are supposed to have one mission: academically prepare students for college and career.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And if you're committed to your mission, you don't let anything get in the way. You don't divert resources. I don't know if they're dues paying members of the local Chamber of Commerce, which was the sponsor of the event. They hosted the event. I know in Johnson County, school districts will pay dues to chambers of commerce. I've been in the meetings when at least two of them are there advocating for property tax increases.
Yeah.
In advocating for all kinds of tax increases and against accountability for schools.
Unbelievable. Dave Trabert is here, Kansas Policy Institute. Keep an eye on that. We'll be following your reporting on that at the Sentinel, Dave. On the other hand, there's something else here in Johnson County I want to touch on. Last night at about midnight, 8-0 vote from the Lenexa Planning Commission to not move ahead with a special use permit for the proposed homeless shelter at the La Quinta Inn and Suites off I-35 and 95th Street. Now, it's still going to go to the council next month, but there were 75 speakers last night at Lenexa City Hall, and the Planning Commission, 8-0 vote saying we're not going to approve the special use permit. So you've been following this story. You know about this story. What do you make about what happened last night and where things go from here?
Well, it's sadly typical of the Kelly +4 group that controls the county commission. Why would you spend $1, let alone millions of dollars, on a property that needs a special use permit? Get these things worked out in advance. No, it's just, this is what Kelly wants to do. So he plows ahead, and his members, his group of 4 other commissioners, just say, yes, sir, we'll do what you tell us. And now they've got they've got this commitment. They don't have, I don't want to get into because I wasn't at the meeting, I can't. But if you need a special use permit, there's already a homeless shelter in the nearby area. This is for special. It's right along I-35. It's a redevelopment corridor. The city has specific uses they want properties in that area to be used for. So, it's commendable. You want to do something about homelessness. Of course, Kelly and his group, according to people who attend the property tax hearings, are pushing tax increases that may contribute to somebody's homelessness. I've heard people living on limited income up there saying, please don't raise our taxes. We have to choose between medicine and property taxes some days, or food. Mm-hmm. Plow ahead. We don't care. We're going to do what we want. It's never about what's best for taxpayers overall. It's what some of these elected officials want to do that fits their agenda. But this is just atrocious that they would spend money knowing it could be for naught. Mm-hmm. And now what are you going to do with a hotel?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point. The order doesn't make any sense. Get your house in order, get the special use permit, and then if all that goes through, maybe you consider doing something at the county level and play it out from there. Dave?
Well, and there's one more element, Pete. It's not just the funding, it's the operating costs.
Yeah.
They want all the cities in Johnson County to kick in to do that. You've got to get all these commitments lined up ahead of time, or you don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you're right. I mean, and the bigger municipalities, Overland Park, Olathe, they want them to pay well over $100,000 a year for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
while they are proposing large tax increases also.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And next week we got to make sure we're keeping tabs on that, because I know that people on the Kansas side are going to be seeing what those increases may look like on the property tax front in the weeks and months ahead. So, Dave, I know you're going to be on it at the Sentinel when others won't. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Pete. Have a good day.
All right. Dave Trabert on KCMO 95.7 FM.